Hello and welcome to this video. So we are going to learn how to find the equation of a straight line. So in the last video we learned how to calculate the gradient of a straight line, and now we are going to use that knowledge to learn how to get the equation of a straight line. So I'm going to leave a link, or there's a link for you in the description box. All you need to do is to click on that link and you will be directed to that video so that you can learn how to find the gradient of a straight line. So, but before we start this lesson of today, if it's your first time here and you haven't subscribed to this channel, please take a second and tap on the subscribe button and also on the notification bell, so that whenever I upload a video, you will be the first one to get notified. Okay, so let's go directly to our lesson of today. So we said, okay, let me just do a recap of what we did. So if this is a Cartesian plane and we have, let's say, a line that way, so we said that given 2 points, we can get the gradient of a line. So let's say we have point 0, -3, and we have point, and this other point is, let's say, 1, 0. So using those 2 points, we can find the gradient of this line, which we said we get it by the change in y all over change in x. Okay, so I'm not going to repeat all this because I've already done a video on that. So all you need to do is to click on that link in the description box, as I told you earlier. So let's say we have these 2 points and we already know the gradient of this line is, let's say, 3. So let's say the gradient of this line is equal to 3. So now the question is, what is the equation of this line? So what we do is that we identify a third point on this same line. So we can maybe identify this point here, and we're going to name this point x, y, okay? X and y. And then what we do is that we try to get the gradient of this line using this point that we have now, that is x, y, and any other point. Remember, we already have 2 points that we know their coordinates, okay? You can use either 1, 0 or 0, -3. So we are going to get the gradient of this line using point x, y, and let's say 1, 0. You can also use 0, -3. So remember, this should give us, or when, of course, we'll get the gradient here in terms of x and y. So we can now equate that to the gradient which we already know is 3. So let's do that. So the gradient here is going to be y, the change in y is y minus 0, okay, and then divided by change in x is x minus 1, okay. So this one we can now equate it to 3 because it is the same as the gradient, okay. Remember, you can find the gradient using any 2 points, and they should give you the same answer. That is why we are equating it to 3, because we know that it should give us 3. So there's one general equation of a straight line. Let me write it down here for you. So an equation of a straight line should be in the form y is equal to mx plus c. So m here represents the gradient, or let's try to make our equation here resemble this form, okay. So let's do this. We can cross multiply. Okay, let's cross multiply that way, and we're going to have y is equal to 3x minus 1, okay. So this is going to be y is equal to 3x minus 3, and you can see that now our equation resembles this one. So y and x are variables, but m and c are constants. So m represents the gradient. You can see the gradient is 3. So 3 here is our m. So the gradient is 3. And then C, we call it the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is the point where this line cuts the y-axis. So if you go back here to this Cartesian plane, you can see that this line cuts the y-axis at the point 0, -3. So the y-intercept is the point where this line, or the value of y, where this line cuts the y-axis. So here the value of y is -3, which is represented by C here. So C is -3. So we can quickly look at another example. So let's say we have a line that passes through the points. So let's say a line that passes through the points, let me say P, which is 2, 2, 3, that is point P. And let's say we have point Q, which is 0, -4. And we know that the gradient, okay, you can be given the gradient, or if you are not given the gradient, of course, you will have to calculate it. But if you are given the gradient, in most cases, you will only be given 1 point. For example, you can only be given 0.23 that way. And then we are told the gradient of this line is let's say maybe 3.5. So the gradient is 3.5. Okay. But if you're given 2 points, it means that you can find the gradient first. But let's say we have this, that we have a question that point P passes through the points, or a line passes through the point P 2, 3, and it has a gradient of 3.5. So what is the equation of this line? So as I said, you need to identify another point that we are going to name in terms of X and Y. So we are going to have another point X and Y. And then what we try to do is that we try to get the gradient of this line using these 2 points. So we're going to have point P and this other point, that is XY. So let's try to find the gradient using these 2 points. So the change in Y is going to be 3 minus Y, and then the change in X is going to be 2 minus X. So that is the gradient of that line in terms of Y and X. And we know that the gradient can be found by any 2 points on the line. So this gradient is equal to this 3.5. Okay, so we can cross multiply this so that we make it in the form y is equal to mx plus c. So let's cross multiply that. It's going to be 3 minus y is equal to 3.5 multiplied by 2 minus x. Okay, so that is going to be, so we need to make it into that form. So on this side, on the left hand side, we need y only. So rather, let me first open this bracket. So it's going to be 3 minus y is equal to 7 minus 3x. Okay, so not 3x, sorry, but 3.5x. 3.5x. So y, we need only y on this side. So it's going to be negative y is equal to, so we can take 3 to this other side, okay, or rather we can subtract 3 on both sides, and it's going to be negative 3 plus 7 minus 3.5x, okay, which is going to be negative y is equal to negative 3 plus 7 is equal to 4, then minus 3.5x, okay. So at this point we can divide through by negative 1, okay, so that we can remain with y. Remember, we have negative y, so we want to get rid of this negative sign, so we can divide or multiply through by negative 1. So this is going to be y is equal to negative 4 plus 3.5x, but remember, still it doesn't resemble this form, okay. So this should be here, this should be here, and this should be here. So we need to interchange those 2 positions. So it's going to be y is equal to 3.5x minus 4. So you can see that now it resembles the general form of the equation of a straight line, where m, which is 3.5, is the gradient, and negative 4 is the y-intercept. That is the value of y, where this line cuts the y-axis. Okay, so I believe you have understood. I believe you have understood how to get the equation of a line. So that is it. If you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing to this channel and turning on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a video like this, you will be the first one to get notified. So goodbye for watching, and let's meet in the next video.